All right, so this is Diesel We the People News. Okay. Um, this picture of this judge was actually awesome judge on the Fox channel. I don't have any experience why he was being a judge, but what he spoke of on Fox News of several different times, he made me led to believe that he was actually one of the very few good judges. Okay. Once again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving legal advice. Okay. We never look straight forward. We always look around us, be able to protect ourselves. Okay. Anything I say or do is not a legal opinion. You know what it is, right? I'm not an attorney, so I'm not giving legal advice. All right. It's just my opinion. Educational purposes only. Okay. This video actually kind of ties in with me a little bit, right? I lived in Odessa, Texas when this went down. And I lived there, 35 years. All right. And what Bill Cooper did was actually, in fact, true. Now, that being said, I had no experience in the city limits. All right. We all knew the county was corrupt. And it was this alleged sheriff department was extremely corrupt. All right. And I am led to believe and do believe that it has not changed much.
You realize the failure of the war on drugs when someone tasked with combating it switches sides.
A one-time Texas drug agent described by his former boss as one of the best narcotics officers in the country.
Barry Cooper, Copbusters,
Controversial,
arrested, vigilante,
questionable,
finding Christmas trees, watchdog,
illegal.
The Texas Rangers are investigating a sting Cooper carried out against Odessa police officers in 2008.
Welcome back to the Lackluster Channel. Barry Cooper was once one of the nation's top canine and narcotics officers. During his tenure, he realized that the war on drugs was immoral and ineffective. His new understanding caused him to shift directions, and he created the Never Get Busted video series to teach people how to never get caught. Soon, he realized that he knew all the cops' dirty little secrets.
All right, so a few years ago, there was a drug force agency officers. Okay, that's pretty much all they did. Okay, allegedly. All right. Well, since then it's been dismantled. Okay, too much corruption, I should say. All right. Now, government may not say that, but the people that has experience with them does say that. And yeah, I had to say that was factually, actually, not opinion, accurate. Been in the Permian Basin area for sure. Through Texas, can't say. All right. And a few years later, there was actually corruption again with the sheriffs, local cops, judges, magistrates, and all that, and child support agency. Around 2018, 2019, somewhere in that area. The whole family court system was shut down in that same area for a pretty good while everything being investigated. Okay? And because, well, basically the same thing. They was committing crimes. All right.
It's like how they make a canine false alert, how officers use confidential informants to plant narcotics, and much more. With that wealth of information, he decided it was time to start busting bad cops.
Now, when he did show up, and this had been around that I can remember, I seem to think that because he was running for something in court, I guess they're going to say what it was, but I think it was some type of attorney, and clean the mess up, which Odessa was needed. However, government don't like to lose, and ignorance of the people. Gee, think.
This story begins with the arrest of Yolanda Madden, a single mother of two with no criminal history or issues with addiction. In 2005, she was arrested for possession.
Any drugs or weapons in there? Is your truck? Dad, there's drugs in there right now? Weapons? Nothing at all. Mind if we check it? We got information that's supposed to be drugs in there.
Though she was 100% innocent, she was convicted, and due to the weight of the illicit substance, she was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Yolanda's father had overwhelming evidence that the substances used to convict her were planted by a confidential informant who had accidentally hit the wrong target. Her father contacted Barry Cooper, as he not only ran Cop Busters, but he also previously worked in the area with some of the same officers involved. Barry decided to take action to catch the officers by setting up a fake grow house in the district, hoping that by doing so, he could prove Yolanda's conviction was sourced by unlawful and unconstitutional actions of the officers involved. So in December of 2008, Barry found a vacant house and put tinfoil over the windows. He brought...
Now, the tinfoil thing, before 2008, is actually used to be fairly common due to the extreme heat of Odessa, because the sun was 90% open. We very seldom have clouds in the sky. So we used the foil to actually ricochet the sunlight from the house, especially if you was poor and did not have good air conditioning. All right, and some of us that had fans over the stove ran the fans to suck the heat out of the house. Okay, now I'm talking about poor people, or the above average poor people within that guide range, not medium class. Okay, most of us at the time, if we was lucky, we had swamp heaters, which was fine in dry heat. All right, we stuck water, ice, all that in our swamp coolers to cool that water off to circulate through the house and cool the house down as well. Of course, being 104 and 110 degrees, the ice water didn't last long, so you had to enjoy it while you can. But this was a common use of tinfoil over the window, so they even put this as a drug thing, when this was pretty common for poor people to cover the sun. This was a ridiculous, stupid thing even at that time, because everybody knew that. Alright? It was an excuse due to creature habits of other states that this may be true. But in Odessa, Midland area, when you were poor, that's what we did to keep the sun out and the heat away. Alright?
And grow lights and ventilation systems, all for the care and nurture for 2 small pine tree saplings, and to trigger an illegal raid by the Odessa Police Department.
Police are not supposed to run a search warrant or make an arrest on an anonymous tip alone. Right. And this vice unit has a habit of lying on search warrants and claiming they had an informant go in and see drugs in the house, and then they raid the house. We used to do it when I worked for them. If we couldn't get the evidence we needed and we wanted to raid the house, we lied and said an informant went in there.
So now, with Barry's pine sapling nursery set up, cameras were installed to survey the property, and it didn't take long for the Odessa Police Department to arrive at the location as planned. With weapons drawn, the officers enter the residence and systematically clear the house room by room.